I don't know if you're on vacation, if you're paying attention to the news or not, but it was an all-caps kind of day for the President of the United States today. This is what he tweeted this afternoon. This will give you a sense of what's going on. I just got impeached for making a perfect phone call. I only wish I could have been there when he pounded that out, when he mashed those stumpy pink little thumbs into his phone like he was killing little bugs or something. And this, by the way, is what he's tweeting before the trial starts. So I think we have a lot to look forward to. The impeachment trial starts Tuesday, and there are specific rules for how this will go. You know, last time it happened, no one had phones. So this time, senators will not be allowed to use their phones during the trial, and they will have to stand when they cast votes, which is a big deal because, well, for a lot of these senators, this will be the first time they've ever stood for anything. And so today it all began. Thank you. Chief Justice John Roberts was sworn in today by the Senate President Pro Tem, who did not make me feel optimistic about the Republican-controlled Senate's desire to conduct a fair and impartial trial.
Do you solemnly swear that in all matters appertaining to the trial of the impeachment of Donald John Trump, you will uphold impartial justice, even though we all know that he's guilty as Come on, guys, admit it. We all know he's a treasonous little power slut. But that won't matter, because you will examine the evidence, yada, yada, bingo, boingo, and in 3 weeks he'll be back to ranting about flushing toilets and windmills causing cancer. So help you God.
I do.
All right. Well, there we have it. I don't envy John Roberts. The Chief Justice has a tough job. He's in charge of the proceedings, but he doesn't have any actual power in them. Although, we'll see. Wouldn't it be great if John Roberts just stood up and said, I'm the Chief Justice, and we're going to have justice, damn it. Anybody got a problem with that, you son of a Mitch? I used to have sexual fantasies. Now all I have is this. But meanwhile, the bombshells are still falling from the sky thanks to one of Rudy Giuliani's Ukrainian dirt diggers. Lev Parnas sat down with Rachel Maddow last night to spill the borscht. There were a number of takeaways from the interview, like that Trump is going to get taken away was one of them, but this was some back and forth. Among many other things, Lev Parnas told Rachel Maddow he relayed a message on behalf of Rudy Giuliani and the president to the president of Ukraine that said the U.S. would stop all aid if they did not announce an investigation into the Bidens, and pointed out that if he hadn't been sent by Trump, as they claim, why would Ukrainian officials have met with him in the first place? Parnas said everyone in Trump's inner circle knew what was going on. Mike Pence, John Bolton, the Attorney General, William Barr, probably even Kanye knew what was going on. And Parnas even wrote Mike Pence's brother Greg into the mess. Who knew Mike Pence even had a brother Greg? This is... Maddow covered just about everything, but the headline was this.
What do you think is the main inaccuracy or the main lie that's being told that you feel like you can correct?
That the president didn't know what was going on. President Trump knew exactly what was going on. He was aware of all of my movements. I wouldn't do anything without the consent of Rudy Giuliani or the president.
There he is. The smoking goon is right there. He said he spent 4 or 5 days a week with Rudy Giuliani, so it does not look good for Rudy. But then again, neither do his teeth.
In terms of the president and what he has said about you, he said about you and Mr. Fruman, Igor Fruman, I don't know those gentlemen, I don't know about them, I don't know what they do. You're saying that was not a true statement from the president?
He lied. I mean, we're not friends. I mean, when you say friends, I mean, me and him didn't watch football games together. We didn't eat hot dogs. But he knew exactly who we were. He knew exactly who I was, especially.
In Ukraine, the truest test of friendship is whether or not you eat hot dogs. So that was last night. This morning, Kellyanne Conway found herself in the unusual position of being grilled by Fox News.
What is the White House's position on his allegations that are now public?
Well, remember, people who go on TV are never under oath. This is someone who hadn't come forward on his own volition. He was arrested and then indicted.
Are you saying flat out, 100%, what he alleges is not true? Yes or no?
Well, when Lev Parnas says, speaking of the court of law, when he says the president knew all of my moves, he gave consent. Objection, you cannot say what somebody else knew or thought.
Is he lying or not, Kellyanne?
Well, he's a proven liar. He's been indicted.
It's a yes or no question. Trump knew exactly what was going on, said Lev Parnas, and we're asking, is that statement true or false?
Trump knew what was going on. How? In other words, what does Lev Parnas actually say?
I don't know. If I was her, I'd just run. I turn around, I start running. I wouldn't stop till I got to Disney World. But she is sticking with Trump till the end. Lev Parnas says unequivocally Trump knows him and knew what he was up to, but today the president suggested otherwise.
I don't know him. I had never had a conversation that I remember with him. I don't know him. I don't know Parnas. I don't even know who this man is. I don't know him. Perhaps he's a fine man. Perhaps he's not. I know nothing about him. I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever spoken to him. I don't know him at all. Don't know what he's about. Don't know where he comes from. Know nothing about him.
He knows everything and nothing all at the same time. Parnas also name-dropped another Team Trumper who happens to be the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunez, who did everything he could to derail the impeachment hearing, previously claimed he could not recall if he'd had a conversation with Lev Parnas on his personal cell phone. But then last night, after Parnas told Rachel Maddow that Nunez was personally involved, magically he remembered the call.
So, and we also talked back then about the fact that your phone number showed up with calls to him, to Lev Parnas, in a list of data numbers, and you said that you didn't recall speaking with him, or whether it was on your cell phone or your office phone. Have you figured out the answer to any of those questions?
And if you recall, that was brand new when that had come out when I came on your show.
That's
because
right.
I just didn't know the name, this name Parnas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he didn't even see. He doesn't even know how to pronounce the name Parnas. I mean, there are a lot of Parnasses out there. Is he supposed to remember all of them? Call records show multiple calls between Nunez and Parnas. Once they spoke for 8.5 minutes, and this, I don't speak to my mother for 8.5 minutes. I don't know what they were talking. The whole scenario feels like The Sopranos, except instead of organized crime, it's disorganized, very disorganized. And this Lev Parnas, what an interesting character. Last night, Rudy Giuliani called him a proven liar, even though not only did he work for Giuliani for quite some time, Rudy's godfather to his child, but I don't think he was happy to see his former friend on TV last night.
Basically, I mean, I was with Rudy more than, 4 or 5 days out of the week. I mean, and I was in constant contact with him. So, and I was with Rudy when he would speak to the president. I interacted with him at a lot of events. I had a lot of one-on-one conversations with him at gathering.
Well, I hope they can work this out. I really do. And maybe the most shocking revelation of all the many things we learned is that Lev Parnas, this man, is only 47 years old. He is the same age as Sofia Vergara, and he's 3 years younger than Paul Rudd. So that's what happens when Rudy drinks your blood. And while the president is on the hot plate, his son-in-law, in a bit of excellent timing, Jared Kushner's on the cover of Time magazine this week with quite a photo. How are we supposed to trust him with the Middle East when he doesn't even know what to do with his arms? It looks like he's in a police lineup. Look, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out because, you know, Donald Trump doesn't like magazines when he is not on the cover. He is not going to pay a porn star to spank him with that. Let's just say it. Time did a whole profile on Jared. Jared said when he got to the White House, he didn't necessarily know what it took to be successful. And guess what? He still does not know. But Jared Kushner always has a spaced out look in his face, like the edibles just kicked in. And the fact that this is happening, that he got this interview at the same time, Republicans are demanding that Hunter Biden explain how he got a job he wasn't qualified for, is very rich. But the interview, they even shot a little tour of Jared's office at the White House. Take a look at this.
When you walk into the West Wing, it's a small space. Everyone who walks down the hall to meet the president will walk by Jared Kushner's office. He has become Trump's most loyal troubleshooter. The president trusts him and gives him some of his most important policy initiatives to try to drive through.
Hold on, look at that note. To Jared, great job on Mexico. Thanks, Dad. It's the kind of note you get when you write a book report about Mexico and the teacher gives you a B+. But Jared has a bunch of framed notes from Trump on the wall of his office. Jared, great job, thanks, Donald Trump. To Jared, great job, Donald Trump. This is a map of Israel Trump signed and wrote, nice. And then this was a weird one. This I thought was a little strange. Your wife is hot, which is... Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. Give back this holiday season. Buy my new book, The Serious Goose. I wrote it and drew it. All the money I make goes to children's hospitals across the country. And if you don't support that, you are a monster.